Peyton Manning was on ESPN over the weekend and shared that he had spoken with Joe Burrow and that Joe had called him. Here's Peyton explaining on SportsCenter why he and Joe Burrow spoke.
Yeah, Joe called me last week. Obviously, we have somewhat of a relationship since he came down to our football camp last summer. I try to stay in touch with all the quarterbacks that come down to the camp if I can be a resource for them, especially as they approach their NFL dreams. But what an exciting year Joe had. And just he called me about some of the things I tried to do when I was a rookie that maybe he can apply to his NFL career. Looks like it's going to be with the Cincinnati Bengals. And look, what I told him, I said, Joe, when you're the first pick in the NFL draft, you are going to a team that has really earned the first pick in the NFL draft. There are going to be some holes there. And there's a reason the Colts were picking number one that year. There's a reason the Bengals are picking number one this year, the Giants when they had Eli. So other people have to step up. You have to give them some help. But for him, I tried to tell him it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Of course, the Giants weren't picking number one. The Chargers were when they took Eli, but that's neither here nor there. But Peyton went to a very bad Colts team. And, of course, in his first year, they went 3-13, and he very notably set the record for the most interceptions thrown by a rookie quarterback in a season. Actually, Peyton laughed about that on SportsCenter as well.
Now, if the draft is 10
I lost more games my rookie year than I had my entire high school and college career combined. I threw 26 interceptions. That's still an NFL record. If Joe wants to break that, Hannah, I'd be okay with that. We'd still be friends.
So the thing that a lot of people forget, though, about Peyton in that 3-13 year, and that, of course, was with Jim Mora, but he did have success, threw for over 3,000 yards in his rookie season. 3,700, as a matter of fact. But after going 3-13 in year one, they came back in year two and went 13-3. And then 10-6, 6-10, and then they started that incredible streak of 12 straight years with double-digit wins in the regular season, starting in 2002. They went 10, 12, 12, 14, 12, 13, 12, 14, 10, 13, 13, 12, and then Peyton had the injury. That was a remarkable run of consistency to go 12 consecutive years with double-digit wins in the regular season. And it took a while for them to get to that level of consistency. But the thing that people forget is that in year two, they were 13-3. And I think Joe Burrow has enough of a supporting cast there in Cincy to where they're a better team than the 2-14 they were this past season. And if you have a target like A.J. Green and you have some good running back talent, remember Joe Mixon is still there as well, I think that if they fortify that offensive line, there is talent in Cincinnati in a division that I'm not going to say feels winnable, obviously, when you're in a division with Baltimore and then Pittsburgh, considering how good and consistent they've been as long as they've been. But Cleveland is still there, and they're very much a question mark and remain to be one, even though they're everybody's darling. And Pittsburgh's coming off an 8-8 season. And yes, Roethlisberger's back, but how much longer is he there? So Pittsburgh could be going through a bit of an overhaul coming soon. So I do think that there are more opportunities in Cincinnati than many might assume. One more from Peyton Manning, though, and he does talk a little bit about that, about his history, but about why Joe Burrow, if he has struggles in year one, shouldn't get discouraged.
I tried to learn a lot that year. I played every game. Jim Mora never took me out. I learned some things in the fourth quarter of those blowouts about what it took to be an NFL quarterback. And the next year, we went from 3-13 to 13-3. That wouldn't have happened had I not hung in there and kind of learned the ropes as a rookie, even though we took some bumps and bruises. So that's what I try to encourage Joe and all the NFL quarterbacks, that your rookie year is not going to be the same as your senior year in college. But if you learn how fast these defensive backs are, how soon you have to get rid of the ball, understand defenses, you can become a better player and really get it going the year or two after that.
That was Peyton Manning on SportsCenter talking about the conversations he's had with Joe Burrow.